Evening, welcome to the Connection Show. Today I'm so excited to have Knut on the show, and Knut is all the way from Portugal. Welcome,
It's a
welcome.
pleasure for me as well. Thank you.
And my pleasure to have you on. It would be amazing if we could start by having you sharing with everybody your current project and what you're up to. That would be amazing.
Well, I am the founder of Global Renaissance Society. And you can see a part of what I really dream about, the place you see behind me. Because as a part of what I'm doing is to create a center for this global awakening and a new global renaissance. And that's why we need both, to meet online as we do now, but we also need to meet face to face. And then to build up what I see, and the overall vision is a united global nation of future citizens. How do we create a society, a global society, from scratch, so to say? We will listen to economy, relationships, education, how we run our business. So it's about purpose-driven business. I see that to have a purpose, the passion and purpose you also talk about in your book, it's more than ever required in order to succeed and how to solve the major global challenges we now have. And I also realized that we need to think anew when it comes to how we collaborate. And by the way, because this is really interesting, in the Leif Edvinsson, I invited him to a conference in 95 something, in the 90s. And wow. The name of my conference was about relationships. I called it Relationships Conference. So when you come now, it's with your connectivity and contactivity, as Leif also named it, then it's pretty close to my own heart. And as I say, to build up a society, not the least from your perspectives, from your book. Because when I read your book, and what inspired me, of course, what inspired me the most was you. I think that is important. You in yourself, your presence, your life story. And Leif, he recommended me to connect with you. And after that, we have had, several great conversations as well. So I say the first question you asked me, what inspired me and triggered me, it was this combination, because I love entrepreneurs like you. I have been an entrepreneur myself almost all my life. So to listen to a woman like you, and not to list a woman, many entrepreneurs, they are men. So far, that has been the classical trend. But now we see a new trend with women coming on and women on the go. So that is also something that really inspired me, and your background and your life story. But okay, we will talk more about that later maybe. So I'm working fully now to build this global ecosystem, a new kind of organization, how we connect with each other, how do we start from scratch when it comes to future community building. So, okay, that's what I'm doing.
Wow, that is so inspiring. And I love the image behind you. It really articulates what you're trying to tell us. I could almost imagine it. Is that a real drawing model of what you're envisioning?
Yeah, this is a concrete place in Tuscany, in Italy. Because when I named it the Global Renaissance, that is because I was inspired by the first European Renaissance 500 years ago. And I realized that we are living in a time which is very similar to the first Renaissance. A lot of turbulence, a lot of new things going on. They invented even the perspective in itself. And that is what I see also now, this time, that we need a new perspective, a new worldview, because we live in a global village, but we don't act like that. So again, how do we connect on a global level, and how do we act locally? That is also important here. So, as I said, this is in Tuscany, in the cradle of the first Renaissance, and that is really, I love this place, you know, and to have people all over the world come here together and build up a center, a community, a think tank, an educational center, where we really can share our visions about the future. So this is one of my dreams. You talk a lot about the dreams, you know. So this is my physical dream, and my heart really belongs to Italy. I love Italy, you know. So
I can feel it. I can feel it. I can imagine it, and I feel like we're there already, because I'm very visual kind of person. So as you talk about it, I was visualizing, and I sense things very easily. So I literally feel like, you know, we're going to be there, and I look forward to be there when that's happened.
Oh. Well, heartily welcome. You know that, Linda. Yes, sure.
I'm so happy to hear that, you know, you and Leif work together, and it's from Leif that you know about my book, and that's so humbling. And it's so good to hear that we have this common goal, that to connect the society globally, and that is so beautiful. So having said that, is there a particular chapter or story that resonated with you most?
Yeah, you know, for me as a holistic being, you know, I try at least to be a holistic leader as well. That is the whole again, you know, it starts with the personal individual, and your story and your relationship with your mother. My God, you really have had an amazing, you know, mentor in her. So just to read about that, and of course the journey, because I have also been through a long journey, you know, from a small place in nowhere, you know, where I didn't really, you know, believe that I could be anything at all. And then you suddenly are there on a global, international level. And for me, that has really been a class journey. So to read the story in itself, and also because, as I told you, I have been concerned myself on relationships in itself, because I really understood that to be connected. And when I was a young boy, I was really, you know, I really felt lonely, you know. I didn't really feel that I was seen, I wasn't understood. So I felt like this cuckoo, you know, in another, in a, you know, strange bird's nest. So to go from there, to have the self-confidence. I know what you talk about when you talk about your dreams, and never listen to others, and, you know, follow your voice, listen to your own voice. That has been my payoff, my guideline all my life. So you can see one of my gifts is to be very intuitive. And today I can say I thank my own intuition and my own inner voice that I'm here where I am today. But that said, you know, this whole story and your practical wisdom, you know, because that is important, because I see many people have told me even that what you are doing, Knut, this is really about life and death. And it is. In the world we live today, what we build up now, is really concerning about life and death, and how we create our life and business and work. That said, of course, because I am an entrepreneur, you know, I have always been the creator. And more I realize, yes, that's what you are. And when it comes to education, because I have been a lecturer as well, then I realized that, my God, so boring this is, you know. The traditional education, it's nothing to do. One, because it's not creative, it's not funny. And the second is that it's not related to the major challenges we are facing nowadays. That's why this entrepreneurial spirit about serving something greater than ourselves. And in one system I follow and contemplate that. The question that has really, you know, challenged me was, you know, it was like this, you know, okay, how can I be of the greatest service to humanity? You know, how can I be of the greatest service to humanity? And that doesn't mean that everyone needs to work on a global level. No, but it means, as you also mentioned in your book, passion and purpose. I believe that when a person an individual find their own passion and purpose, they find their blueprint also in the ecosystem, because we know from science as well, from quantum reality, that everything is interconnected, even if we are conscious or not about that. So then again, my conclusion was, okay, what is creating value? What is creating value? Of course, our work, what we do for each other. But if we don't serve the whole good, then we just survive. But we can't find our true inner, satisfaction or happiness. Because for me, it has been more and more clear that when I serve the whole, then I also will be happy. And happiness is also then to be connected with your true family. Yes. You know, in quantum, we also talk about fractals. Or it is important to be together with the right people to support you. If you are, at least if you are an entrepreneur, it's, you know, you are totally dependent on the right people around you. And I saw that business and work is the value creation in itself. That is first of all. And of course, we have the services, you know, the nurses and all the other services we all need in order to have a society. But still, the money is, first of all, earned through business. So that's why I saw, okay, if business is on the wrong track, so to say, it doesn't serve the planet, it doesn't serve humanity, then we have to be much more concerned about purpose to the business, you see? So it's about values and principles, and that is the shift we are in currently. And again, that's why I saw in my vision that the first Renaissance and this new global Renaissance, it's a link also historically. To establish also a union between life and work, you know, because now work has been one thing, and then our lives, private lives and leisure time has been something else. But I don't believe in that any longer, because if I am at the core of my being, if I follow my blueprint, if I fulfill my place and position in a global ecosystem, then I automatically am serving the whole. No? Because that is the quality of an ecosystem. It knows itself what kind of specialization and expertise everyone has. But as long as we don't do that, and we listen to other people, and we listen to a society that is now, you know, really shaking in its fundaments, then we will serve the old instead of what is now is emerging.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think to some degree, you're right that at schooling, you know, we need to continue to make it fun, to make it more life application. You know, I think a lot of schools are trying to do that. But I also hear that a lot of so-called change makers, ever since my book was launched, have proposed that, you know, we turn my book into a curriculum that teach wisdoms, life wisdoms. And literally just before you come on the show, I was speaking to a teacher. And so we're talking about that. We're talking about having the books turning into curriculum so that we can teach the wisdoms. And, you know, really resonating with everything you're talking about. Your work and Leif's work, it's just so fascinating. And it's so wonderful that we all connected globally. And we are so aligned in that, you know, the connection, the connectivity, and globally. And yeah, I'm just so humble and feel excited. Feel excited to hear you talk about your work, and to hear Leif Professor Leif Evensen talk about his work, and to talk with the different teachers around the world to see how we can put my book into curriculum to teach the wisdom, which is a big gap that we like to fill. Because these days, you know, there's a lot of the analytical learning, you know, the mathematics, the science, the coding, and all of those. And so to add the wisdom part to it as well, it will just complete the education for the next generations to come. And we've been discussing that we can design it from kindergarten level all the way up to work to adult level. And so that's the exciting part. So it will take time. It will take time, but hopefully by the time you launch the Renaissance, I will be there to be able to share that. That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be so cool. So since it's so resonating and you enjoyed the book so much, and thank you for writing the review as well, I'm then curious, with the actions taken after you read the book, did it lead to any actions? What happened after reading the book?
About the relationship, and it's the quality of a relationship. That the quality of relationship is not just about confirming a new action. It is about confirming what we are into, because as we talk about now, it is a confirmation. Okay, yes, we are on the right track. Yes, we are not alone. Yes, we are about to connect all over the world. And more people, whatsoever they are in business or in public sector, they do agree at least that something has to happen. The problem or the challenge is that the old system is so fixed in their own rigid systems that they have problems of reacting fast enough. That's why I also see that we need now to create connections all over the world, people who share the same vision. And that's why when you also talk about family, for me it has been extremely important to realize that we are not just a biological family, we are also a fractal of kindred spirits. We, so to say, we have the same purpose on this planet. And when we find each other, we create a critical mass. So if we talk about a new leadership, we really need a new world leadership with other values and principles. We need another kind of education and teaching. That's why we also need, another or a new curriculum. What is really important.
And that's why I talk about self-leadership. So now my work focuses on self-leadership. Yeah. Because, when we can lead ourselves well, we can lead our family well. When we lead ourselves well, we can lead our business well. We can lead our community well. We can lead our nation well. We see so many leaders around the world that when you don't lead from the inside out, it's completely different, isn't it? And so that's why now my work is really much focused on self-leadership. And with that, I'm able to cater from 5 to 7 years old right through to beyond 70, which is really, really wonderful. So I can help like teachers, coaches, healers, change makers, CEOs, writers, speakers. It doesn't matter from which path of life they are from, but because it's all about you, it's about self-leadership that has allowed me to be able to help so many different people from all walks of life. And so it's just so wonderful to be able to have this conversation with you. So it sounds like the action for you that you've taken, it's more of reaffirming, isn't it? Reaffirming that what you're thinking and the path that you're on, that you're not alone, that this vision that you have, it's been reaffirmed that everybody around the world needs this global connection, and that we can create family outside of our biological family, which is exactly what I discuss in the book. Yeah. And that is amazing, because with Global Renaissance, you are actually creating a global entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, yes.
Is that right? Yes.
And, I talk about, transformational leaders. That is what we talk about, whatsoever they are, teachers or what, branch they're into, but transformational leaders and visionary entrepreneurs, because you can be an entrepreneur. But if you don't have the vision from this passion and purpose, then again, you will come up with a lot of technology, new technology and new systems and so on. But it serves the old. And that is important to understand, that this new educational system and whatsoever, it requires that we have this new understanding of where everything is interconnected. And also the holistic practitioners. We need people who do understand the whole human being. So when I talk about the action here again, it is then to to create the ecosystem. Because what you asked me about that is more to say that, okay, an ecosystem is both education, and I need to think about that, how to create a totally new kind of education. It's about networking. What kind of people are the right ones to build up this? You know, the right people, they are really, you know, at the core of the success. And it's also about how do we do business. It's about the infrastructure. Now we have also, you know, challenged me in writing, and I also love to write, you know. So it's on all these levels. So for me, the action has been, as I was reminded you now, you need to fulfill the overview, to create the whole infrastructure, so we can start to invite people. Because most people, they are not used to create a structure. They are used to get into structure when it's there. So that has been my action now after we talked last time, you know, okay, how to bind all this together, how to create business models, you know, it's all these practical things. So you have absolutely inspired me, as I say, because I have known my direction for many, many years. It's more, again, to implement it, as you, again, mentioned in your book. How do we implement the knowledge into wisdom? How do we implement the vision into practical reality? How do we walk from the comfort zone into this unknown unknowns where most of us really are, even if we feel it uncomfortable? So action for me is both the reflection and contemplation. That is action. That is the feminine receptivity. You know, I have to listen all the time. I try at least to do that.
And it's
and
most
then the
important.
masculine. Yes, it is.
It's most
True.
important, because without reflection, we're not able to go in depth and move forward more powerfully. We're not able to redefine the direction, and that is the most powerful action for self, isn't it? Is to have that reflection. I am so pleased that you've gained so much from the book, and it sounds like you enjoyed it immensely. I'm so happy for you to hear all your developments, you know, and to hear so much alignment with us, with our work, and with Professor Leif Evensen as well, and to hear that it added so much value for your reaffirming and reflection and moving forward. So if you were to share with our audience who's watching or listening about attending your global renaissance, how do you have an idea of the date that it's being launched, an idea how they can join you, or an idea of how they can work with you?
Yeah, as I said, there are many connections or modes of connecting here. So we are working on it with ambassadors, you know, that we wanted to create, you know, because a lot of people all over the world, they do understand that something has to happen. And I want Global Renaissance Society to be an instrument, a tool, an ecosystem for that. So that is one thing, that we will invite people, and maybe a small donation, because we, you know, you know yourself that very often it's about very practical resources. Are people, it's the competence, it's the technology, and it is the financial capital. So that is one thing. And we are also now going out for investors, because we need patrons. You know, because when you are into something totally new, you can't be dependent on the old economic system, because then you create debt instead of create the freedom we need to create something totally new. So that is one thing, you know, and I have created a finance and competence pool that people who are conscious capitalists can support. Then you have these small business communities, you know, where I call botegas or foresighters or navigators, that small 36 teams of 5 people in each. So people feeling called, because this is more like a vocation, a calling, than it's ordinary recruiting, because we want to create people who are evolutionary guides, you know, that we are in the cutting edge science at the same time as we united with timeless wisdom, you know, because this is maybe a part of the new global renaissance. That is what more and more people are discussing now. How do we unite cutting edge science and spirituality? or timeless wisdom. And that is coming more and more together. So these small business communities with interdisciplinary, focus areas. We work with relationships, with economy, with well-being and education, and how should we create these new structures? So people who really want to participate in creating this prototype, because I want to create a prototype of these small business communities so they can be replicated the next time. You see, because that is also part of an ecosystem. It replicates itself. And then, of course, it's the place you see behind here, the people who want to participate in both developing it, and of course we need the funding for this place as well. So from ambassadors to professional, I have already professionals and academics, because I realized, as you're also doing, about the relationship, what kind of relations and competence do we need? That's why I have Leif there, and I have many people on a very high international level in an advisory board as advisors, mentors, masterminds. And I have also now more and more people who completes the core team, because I need a core team now also to organize it and manage all this, So there are a lot of connecting levels that people can come into governance of society.
How exciting. So there you go, everybody. If you're listening and if you're working on your project and the sounds are aligning, get in touch. Get in touch with Knut and get in touch with me, and we'll get it all happening, because, we all realize now that, we all want to move forward with more innovation, more connection, more togetherness, right? To make it a better future for everyone, for all of us. So if people want to get in touch with you, Knut, either to attend the event or either to collaborate with you, how do they get in touch with you? Is there email that they like that can get in touch with you?
Email is email is the best, but
right.
You can also find me on LinkedIn.
Right.
That goes to either email or on LinkedIn, because then we connect the professional
So
level.
just in case someone who's listening and not watching, can you spell your name and how they can get in touch with you?
Yes, Knut Arild, Arild, Hanstad.
Yes.
Arild Hanstad. So
I love
that
your
is my
name,
name.
Hanstad. It sounds so nice.
Yeah. It's Norwegian. Yeah.
Hanstad, Hanstad.
Yes.
So is that name originally a Swedish name?
Norwegian.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
But you're now residing in Portugal.
Yes, right.
And then the Global Renaissance will be in Italy.
Yeah, the global center. But the vision is that we have more centers like this.
Right.
So interconnecting, interlinked centers, working with their own focus. Because not everyone should be alike, but we have the same structure. So we have this fixed and flexible, as I discussed with some of my colleagues these days. Focus and flow, feminine and masculine. So we are really concerned about this, the natural talents, skills, and competences each one of us have, and that we can come together in this connectiveness. Yeah.
Sounds amazing. I would hope that everybody who is working on this path come and connect with you, connect with us, and hopefully we can see everybody at the opening when you're ready. Now, do you have any last word to share with everybody before we go?
Maybe, just what we are doing now. I have really realized that in this Corona time, we also have some very deep conversations, because it has somehow unleashed our needs and dreams, and we have time for reflection and to connect with each other. So exactly what we are doing, that is a part of what I'm doing myself. That is to connect with people all over the world, people who share this overall vision, and people who want to go from separation to unity. I think that is the new, so to say, buzzword. That is the, okay, we have been talking about that for many, many years, of course. But in this shift, it is from this competition to co-creation. It is from separation to unity. And to bridge the old and the new somehow. And that is what we want to create, and what I feel you do.
Yes, and to connect all together.
Yes.
And that's how we can move together more powerfully. Thank you so much for being on the show, Knut. You have so much to share. I really feel like we could sit here and listen to you all day long. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, listening. And I love to share with you more next time. So if you have any questions, do email us. My email address is linda@lindaduong.com.au. And if you like to go to my website, lindaduong.com.au, you can get the introductory chapter of my book. And if you read the book, please do leave a review. And if you'd like to be on the show, do get in touch. I would love to have you on the show. And with many different guests, we're able to hear all different knowledge, different opinions and informations. And that's how we all learn together and grow together. And so for Knut's email address, it's knut@power, POWER. Let me just read that again, sorry. It's Knut as in KNUT@power, POWER -site, SIGHT.com. Knut@power-offsite.com. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And until next time, have a great evening or great day wherever you are. Bye for now.